So, Bridge.
Kate?
I don't remember if I actually talked about this in another episode, but, since I've been without Tony Soprano.
Oh, we brought it up again.
Sorry. Well,
okay.
don't worry, we're not staying there. But since, that has moved on and is finished, I did start watching Cobra Kai. Did I tell you about this?
You did tell me about it, and you said you like it a lot.
Oh my god. There's just so much karate drama. It's crazy.
The krama.
It's so intense. Oh my god, I just can't handle it. The one episode, it was like, I didn't realize it was the finale, but then, the stuff started happening, and it made sense. It was the finale because literally the whole episode is basically because there's a lot of high school characters, and a lot of these, high school children do karate, so the whole town knows karate. So in this episode, it literally was turned into a giant hallway fight of 100 children doing karate. So it was just the camera just kept going, looking at different kids all beating each other up, and then, the hashtag karate drama. So it's the two little nerds who were friends, but they go to different karate schools and the drama, and now they're gonna do a little showdown in the hallway. And oh my god, and then someone got thrown off a railing, hashtag spoilers, and then someone whipped out some knuckle knives, and oh my god, hashtag karate drama. I can't do it.
Oh my gosh. I just the chaos of high school, and then you add the nerdiness of karate.
And then karate, yeah.
If only they had those skills in Dazed and Confused times, they'd fight back.
Oh man, yeah, Parker Posey would have got a roundhouse kick to the face. Same with Ben Affleck's character, definitely.
Ben Affleck would definitely have gotten the crane to the face.
Oh, yeah.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, sisters who've seen it.
Hello there!
Hello!
Welcome back!
Welcome back, listeners. It's good to have you back. We hope you flew in on a bat, or rode a snail, or a giant tricycle? What do we call it? What is that? I don't know.
Sure, but what about a luck dragon?
Oh, God, yeah. I really hope you flew in on that, because that's the best way to get around town. All right, listeners. Well, hopefully you're here by some magical, fantastical way. But I'm going to introduce ourselves. So we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And look inside.
Ooh,
something dreams. Falcor's there. These are not the words. I probably should have started with the only lyrics I know. The only lyrics we all know are NeverEnding Story.
Line that up.
I could go on and on singing the wrong lyrics because that's catchy. So, yeah, listeners, our movie is NeverEnding Story.
The 1984 classic.
It really is. And I'm not gonna lie, I was having a good time watching it.
Woo! It had things I didn't remember.
Oh, I bet I know what it is. I bet you didn't remember that a whole half of the movie is this little weird boy with a mushroom haircut who randomly comes and interrupts the movie.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Bastian, the kid! Because I feel like people don't remember that, he's a character and he's, is in the movie a lot.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to say that at all. I was going to say, the way that it's made, all these extra, fantasy characters. In my head, it was a horse, Falcor, and
Falcor,
the princess.
Bridget, with the
Wait, what is, how do I say it?
Falcor.
It's not Val, it's Fal.
It's not Val Kilmer Core, no.
Oh my god, can you imagine his locks? Can someone edit that?
Somebody edit his face on Falcor right now and then send it to me. Thank you so much. Okay, sorry.
And then I have a dream of Tom Cruise riding him like a Top Gun fantasy, but that's...
Whoa, danger zone, please. Oh, God. I can't.
Okay. No. Kate, who is doing this synopsis?
No,
because...
I cannot. I need you to. You have to.
Okay, so Falcor, F. Got it. Check.
It's
okay.
an F. Yep.
This 1984 classic is very 80s. I'll give you that. And I'll take a stab at this synopsis. It's very 80s, and you start off with a little boy who, in my notes, I also wrote Sebastian, but it's Bastian with a B. So, what do we think he is? He's like 11?
Yeah, I think like
12?
10 or 11.
Okay. He's kind of one of these thinking in the clouds type of kids, loves to read, and you get very little about his life because he is reading this magical book that he gets from this random old dude bookstore.
We'll be talking about that, man.
We'll talk about that. And unlike other stories, as he is getting deeper into it, he is somehow being immersed into the story. Not the way you think. It's not like he pops up in the story, but that they can like hear him, and somehow he is a part of like helping the protagonist in the book he's reading conquer this big challenge. So let me get into what's happening in Fantasia. So Fantasia is the land, and they have this problem, and the problem is the nothing.
Nothing.
It's not nothing, but it's called the nothing.
It's something.
It's something. It's not nothing.
Something, but nothing.
What's basically happening is you start to learn that as children, kind of Tinkerbell style, forget believing, this world is crumbling. And all the characters in it don't know what's happening. There is a magical princess that typically saves the day, and she's dying. And they have to have a hero within Fantasia figure out what medicine the princess needs. And that hero that they've summoned is Atreyu. Atreyu, sorry. I'm sober.
Okay.
It's been a week. Wait, Atreyu. Okay. Sorry. Atreyu is summoned. Now, Fantasia has heard of Atreyu. He is this big warrior, and you're ready. You're ready for this incredible hero to come in, cross the lands of Fantasia to find out what this medicine is, and instead a little boy pops up. And everybody's like, what? Psh, you're a little kid. You can't do it.
Like, get him off the stage.
Boo, get him off the stage. So he starts to, which I thought was funny. He was like, hey, if you don't want me, you shouldn't have summoned me. I'm going to go hang out my buffalo. And they were like, wait. So they trust him, and he has this trusty horse. Kate, the horse's name is?
Artex! Pain still hurts after all these years.
The spoiler, the horse.
Sorry. Well,
the horse dies.
Yeah.
But
sure does.
So Atreyu takes off on this mission, and unlike the Dark Crystal or some of these other fantasy Willow, Lord of the Rings, okay, which by the way the little boy quotes in this movie, which I thought was great, there is no real journey. There is no path. It's just saying you have to get medicine, and we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And good luck.
They're like, we don't know anything about anything. Bye.
Yeah, and
like,
it's just the world is coming around them. And so simultaneously, which is something we really have to talk about, Bastian, the little boy in the real world, so to speak, is cutting class and ends up in the school's attic to read this book throughout the entire day and night. Where is his father? Is the police looking for him? Nobody knows, because he's reading a book.
He's reading a book in a abandoned Goonies-esque attic where there are one-eyed Willy skeletons and other scary memorabilia, and I'm a little confused why this school has this room, but it's fine.
Bizarre. But you go back and forth because, you know, like any good book, right? You have those moments where you hit a page and you're like, whoa, or, oh my God, this is scary, or this is exciting. So most of that goes back and forth. And finally, they realize that what will save the princess is a human. A real human has to give her a new name.
Yep.
Kate, a little weak, what do you say?
I do feel like, probably could need a little more, but no,
a little more.
Fine. She technically had a name. Like, if we're
Yes.
getting technical,
So,
like, she did have one. But
Atreyu, who had basically, like, climbed mountains and 10,000 miles and seas and did all the things, was like, really? A name? He was like, how do I find a kid? So he then tries to go to the end of Fantasia, which doesn't exist, and this is where Bastian, in the real world, realizes it's his turn to step up. They can hear him. His imagination is real. He is in the book, and he screams out the name and saves the day. Yeah. Right before Fantasia is about to just go and be gone forever, like the size of a little piece of rice, he screams out the name before it's saved. The drama, Kate.
The drama. Not karate drama, but the drama.
And somehow, the princess then comes into the real world, and they're in the attic together, and she's explaining what's happening, and the end of the movie is by far the best, because Bastian is just on Falcor.
It's amazing.
In the middle of the city of some sort of Canadian town. Kate, that's all I got. Wowzers.
Oh boy. Yeah, that was good, Bridge.
Was it? Because
I
didn't...
I mean, you didn't know the names, but it's alright.
I don't know the names.
It's
Can
okay.
you dub over all the names?
Yeah. I don't know. I just, like, I had seen this movie a couple times. Not, like, frequently, but I've seen it enough that I know the premise and stuff. And watching it this time, I don't know, I was still kind of feeling it. Yes, there are things I laugh at that I'm not supposed to, but that's most movies for me, in all honesty. And I'm sorry, Artex, when he dies, I was literally hysterically crying. And I was like, it is 12 p.m., it is the middle of the day, Bear is like looking at me really concerned, he's like, what the is going on? And I was like, but then he comes back at the very end, so I guess it's okay, but like, what?
We need to get into it, because I'm going to be a little bit more negative about this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely say this is like fantastic, but at the same time, watching it as I'm older, I'm like, this was better when I was younger, in my head.
I think it is like a movie for kids.
So, we start off literally with the best song ever.
NeverEnding Story! And as this beautiful 80s, synth ballad is playing, we're seeing the credits. Fine. But behind the credits, you then, later when the movie actually starts, you realize that we're just straight up looking at these evil clouds. That is the nothing. Like, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, it was a happy song to, like, very scary things.
That would be like if a movie, like, started off by showing, Michael Myers with, like, a bloody knife, and then it was like, yeah, woo, life is good. Like, that's the setup we got. So there are some tone things happening here. But we pretty quickly, we meet Bastian, and he lives with his dad, and he, through kind of talking to dad, you find out that he had a mom, but his mom died. So now it's just him and the dad, and he's like, Dad, I had a dream about mom, and the dad is like, rude about it. He goes, this is the dad's exact line to Bastian being like, I had another dream about mom, and then he, like, makes a sad face. The dad goes, well, we have to get on with it, son. Sir? I'm sorry. What?
After that line, I wrote, the 80s, teaching kids not to feel.
Yeah, honestly. I was like, this is the wrong message.
Also, wait, the dad, I know you make fun of me for this, but, like, didn't he kind of dress like a country sheriff?
Like who?
Like, he was, like, in an old Western sheriff. Like, I thought that was a very random outfit. I was distracted.
You could pay me $1 million to name what color his shirt was, and I couldn't do it.
It was a suit, but it was cut so bizarre. There's gonna be one listener that pays attention to these things like me.
I'm sure there are more than one that pick up those things that you do, but...
And, like Napoleon Dynamite, he's just drawing unicorns in class. His math teacher's mad about it. It ain't no Liger.
Yeah, no Ligers. I'm surprised there were no Ligers, because he seems like a kid who'd be into Ligers.
Definitely.
But the dad's like, you gotta stop drawing horses in math class. And then Bastian gets real defensive. He's like, it's a unicorn, Dad! You don't know my life, God!
You have to stay on the the ground, Bastian.
Yeah, that's like the opposite message, I feel like, that most kids need to hear. So
I know.
Very sad.
It was sad. Even this message is pretty dark. Like the whole story, you know?
Yeah. And like literally from this scene of being like, wow, your dad sucks and you're all alone in the world and everything's sad, we cut to bully!
My God, it never goes away.
You know, the gang of 10-year-old bullies, everybody had those, right? And I don't even remember, why did they even like chase him? They chased him and throw him in a dumpster. What was it about?
So I think they wanted to like steal his lunch or his money.
Oh my God.
Or something, but like unlike the Mighty Ducks, when he goes in this dumpster, that is a dirty dumpster. And he is full of nastiness.
It's nasty, yeah. And then he gets out of the dumpster, and then he walks out of the alleyway, and the kids are standing there. These don't have school. We're hanging out, and they're like, hey, we didn't tell you to get out of the dumpster. And I was like, what? This is all at 7 a.m.? Where are the adults?
Oh my God.
There's a lot of adults walking by.
Bullies. Which is how he sprints away and ends up in this magical bookstore. Like, just trying to get away from them.
Oh, this bookstore.
And this bookstore, at first I thought, are we in a hoarder's house?
Yeah.
Because
yes, because
it didn't have, like, welcome to the bookstore. It just had old books and an old man in the corner being like, oh, don't look at me. Oh, it was weird.
This was one of the parts where I was like, I know I'm not supposed to laugh, but I'm laughing because it was just like so dramatic and ridiculous. This guy, he's like, what'd you run in here for? And he's like, some kids. And he's like, you didn't want to punch him, beat him up? I was like, all right, relax, Cobra Kai, okay? Everybody chill. And then he's like, well, I'm reading this book. And he like looks at him and he's like, you can't read it though. It's a secret. Don't ask me about it. I won't tell you. And Bastian's like, I didn't ask. He's like, fine, I'll tell you about it. It's a secret book.
God,
and you're like,
that's
sir.
some Real Housewives like drama.
It really was. Very Regina George, I'll tell you.
Oh my God. And then he makes fun of him because he goes, I bet you don't read. And he goes, I've read 186 books or something. And he goes, oh yeah? I bet there were comics. And he goes, no. And then he lists out like more books that I've ever read in my entire life as an 11-year-old. And that's where he says Lord of the Rings in one of them. And I was like, ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
Then they had this whole that was subtle. It was decent on, well, you always want to be those protagonists, right?
Right.
Like the guy was like, I am going to tell you what your future will be if you read this book.
It was very Hans, you know, he was kind of like,
oh my God,
imprinting his knowledge that nobody asked for in the corner. So cool.
And then he steals it, which I was like,
sure does.
This kid was kind of a wimp the whole time. I didn't really see that coming.
Right.
But when books are involved, he gets brave.
Steals the book, and then he rolls up to school hella late, and I guess it's like, there's a class that he like looks into. Oh, it's math class. He goes, oh no, math test! And then he sprints away. And I was like, well, damn.
Kate.
That's a reaction to math.
Do you know what I thought he was going to do when he goes and grabs the key?
What?
So, for people who haven't seen it or whatever, it literally looked like the fire alarm.
Oh.
So
no, it did.
Yeah, so I thought he was like, oh no, I'm late, and there's a math test. Fire alarm! And then he like whips out a key. I'm like, wow, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, very interesting character choices because, like you said, he is kind of played off as like a wimp, and he's like breaking a lot of rules here. So
he literally was like, I'm just skipping school. He was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go upstairs and read. Which a part of me is like, well, I guess you're still learning. Is that?
He's not learning math. I'll tell you that.
He's not learning math. Oh no.
Yeah, and this is the scary room where I wrote there are literal skulls in here. Whose body is this?
Chester Copperpot.
Oh, Chester Copperpot. Did you get into Mikey's attic from the Goonies? Because something's happening.
I was following because I was like, okay, it's a school. This is like a school play set or like decorations. Like I was kind of following it. But as the movie went on, it's like the room got dustier and dustier. And I don't know what happened. It just got creepier and creepier. And the windows kept breaking and opening. And
and it felt like a never-ending big room. Lots of space, lots of rooms, and some windows. Yeah, it was, I don't think the school I work in has a room like that, and if it does, I want to find it, because what?
Okay, Kate, what's the modern day rule? An 11-year-old kid doesn't come to school, and nobody, like, called him out as a parent or anything. What do you do? What happens?
The parents get a call from the school being like, your kid's absent, you never called them out, what's up?
Okay, so let's say you're the dad, right? You get the call and you're like, what? I thought he was going to school. So then you go home thinking maybe something happened, he's not home. You're calling the police, right? Because you're like, my kid is literally lost.
I'd hope so, but, this dad, I don't know, he seemed like really perturbed by anything that had to do with his son, so I don't know,
like the rest of the day, the kid is literally, like, missing. Like, Amber Alert missing.
Yep, it's fine, it's all fine, nobody worries.
Oh my god. But we're all just like, wow, that was fast how we got here. Lots of stuff happening. But then we're right into the story.
Yeah. The we're in the story, and what are the first things you see, Bridge?
Well, I don't know their names. You mean, like,
we don't.
The characters?
Let's not worry about names. Let's just describe the animals because they're cute.
The snail, the racing snail,
the
sleepy bat, and then the giant rock man.
I think they call him a rock biter because he eats rocks.
Ooh, yeah, rock biter.
So, did you find any like fun facts in this movie? Because I would be interested to know. Because obviously, a lot of these effects are practical. So these are like animatronics and puppets, and they made these things. So the bat and the snail were like made, and even the rock biter. And I was curious, like, who made them? Because I'm assuming it wasn't Jim Henson, but like, I don't know.
It was not. So, okay, some backstory in this movie. This is a German movie.
Well!
Made in Germany.
That's cool.
And at the time, in 1984, I think they estimated it was about like $27 million. Highest budget film in Germany.
Oh my god.
So anything that you see that is some sort of like creature was three-dimensional. Like they actually built it.
Right.
Okay. Falcor was something like 35 feet long.
What?
And
Jesus!
part of the body of Falcor was like an old airplane like carrier. Okay. To just move Falcor's head, I think it was like 10 people had to be involved. So, and then this gets me into, very quick, because I'll sprinkle the rest of these facts as we keep going, this museum that I sent you. Because we're going to Munich.
I want to go there so bad. You have to describe it for the listeners. It looks so cool.
Okay, so Bavaria Films, it's like similar to Universal Studios in terms of a theme park. In Munich has all of these characters. So you could see Rockbiter, you could go see the Bat, you could go sit on Falcor, and they have a fan that will blow your hair, and it looks like you're flying.
I want to do that. Oh my god.
Yeah. So.
Oh my god.
I didn't see a big name creating all the characters. I can definitely keep looking that one up. But the director was Wolf
the Dentist Stanton from Mighty Ducks 2. I hope not.
Oh, totally. Wolfgang Petersen.
Okay.
Who ended up doing movies like The Perfect Storm.
Oh.
And a lot of like bigger action movies. But apparently he's got a little bit of like a Stanley Kubrick method.
Oh.
So as we dig into it, I got some interesting stories.
Well, whoever worked on the effects and even like just like the sets and all that, like I really appreciated those parts a lot because it's so cool to see, you know, and they do a lot of forced perspective with some of these because you have like all these different creatures. So these first ones that we meet where it's like the snail and the bat presumably are like an actual size of a snail and a bat, and then there's like tiny people who are different kinds of people, creatures, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you see the rockbiter, and the rockbiter is like huge. He's like, I don't even know, like a mountain size, and he has a tricycle steamroller. And like, what? That was like Fred Flintstone style.
Okay, so I was surprised that they were all like 3D, and at times it aged not the greatest.
Yeah.
But you appreciated like all the effort that went into it, right? And how long it took. But I didn't understand with the rockbiter. He was made out of rocks, right?
Yes.
And he's like, I love eating rocks. I was like, dude, that's some Hannibal Lecter stuff.
Yes.
Wasn't that weird?
It is.
Okay.
It sure is. but we are supposed to not think it's weird for some reason.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know, because the rocks he eats don't have little faces, or, they don't scream in terror. Who knows?
Okay.
I don't know. He gets brought in to kind of be a comic reliefy type character.
Yeah.
So you're like, haha, that's so silly. Oh my god. And then he gets real serious real fast, and he's like, oh my god, you guys, I just came from like my home, and my home is completely destroyed, and nothing's there, and everything's wrong, and life is on fire, and it's so horrible. Anyway, I'm going to see the Empress. And they're like, oh, what? You were just like being doofy. What?
They kept being like, wait, what happened, man? And he's like, I had a lake. And they're like, yeah. And the lake was gone. And they're like, oh, like dried up? And not dried up. I was like, oh my god, how long is this conversation?
Very Mr. Miyagi.
But it was needed to describe the nothing. It was needed to describe how it's not about this evil thing. It's just in general, there's like a wipeout. Which, to me, it would be like an epic tornado or hurricane. Like, you can't get mad at it. It just like is what it is. So that was helpful. And then they all were like, me too. We just didn't know what you were saying,
like,
bro.
Oh, yeah, same. No rush or anything, but like we're all like living in fear, and we're all gonna die in a minute. Let's leave, I guess. You're
then they were like, well, we should get out of here.
Yeah, right. I know. That's why I was like, guys, why did we stop? I don't understand.
Oh man! And then we get to like the princess. What is it called?
So she's in the Ivory Tower.
Tower.
I'm assuming is kind of like the capital of this world that everyone's like, wow, you're in charge. And so they all kind of go there, and you don't even see the Empress.
No.
In the beginning. Instead, you see this one guy, and I wrote a note being like, this is not Samuel Jackson. Because I had to be like, let's just double check. It's not.
So I actually thought you were going to go the direction of, this is not Coneheads. Because I got the strongest Coneheads vibe.
That was a little Coneheads-y.
Once again, Kate, the outfits, the neckline.
Okay, yes, all right. I could see that.
But they were all huddled, and they were like, what do we do? And he's like, the Emperor is dying, and we have summoned a warrior. It's like, whoa, is this our only plan? Like, this seems like a really big place.
He doesn't even know the plan. He's like, I didn't even set this up. She set it up, and I'm just standing out here to, like, relay the message. Don't shoot the messenger. I don't know what the f*** is going on. And then, great timing, because that's when Atreyu rolls up, and he's like, it's gonna be a warrior from an Indian tribe. They hunt purple buffaloes, and he's gonna save us. And you're like, wow. And then Atreyu walks up, and somebody yells out in the crowd. Someone goes, it's a little boy! And then everyone's like, boo.
Oh my god, that's like Peter Parker getting screamed out, what a nerd on the bus. It's Spider-Man. You're like,
really
we got it. But, okay, so I read about his character, and there is some critiquing by the director that, like, he wasn't that great of an actor. He was, like, really hard to work with.
I thought he was okay.
So I thought he was okay.
I thought the performance was okay, I should say. I don't know who he is as a person.
I thought he was, like, perfectly cast for his, like, job. Mm-hmm. As this, like, fearless warrior, but believable, but, like, tough.
Yeah.
And in real life, you can read about it, he got thrown off that horse and was, like, in the hospital.
Oh my god!
And you keep reading scene by scene, he, like, physically kept getting beat up.
Oh.
We'll talk about it, but, like, when, the horse passes away, he had another injury. When the wolf tried to get him, he had another injury.
Well, he falls out of a tree, like, 4 times in a row, and I was like, that looks real. Are we okay?
Yeah!
Damn.
So then, like, add the Stanley Kubrick Wolfgang vibe, and then add that. But when he and Bastian would, like, get intense in their dialogue, I did kind of laugh at them. Like, I thought they were, like, a little silly too quick.
I laughed at Bastian, but I didn't always at Atreyu. I think Atreyu did a little better of a job.
Okay.
But he's cool when he comes in, because he's like, yo, what's up, y'all called me.
I was summoned, here I am.
Summoned, and then the guy's like, little boy, get out of here. Oh my, step out of the way for the warrior. And he's like, that's me. And he's like, oh no, we need the adult version of Atreyu. And then he's like, it's just me. Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to follow directions. And then that's when he's like, all right, I guess I'll leave. And then the guy's like, wait, all right, I guess, I don't know, like whatever. Like what? We don't have a lot of direction here, so let's do it.
Listen to this setup. He's like, okay, first I'm going to make fun of you for being a little boy.
Yep.
Then, quickly, I'll say, okay, JK, now I'm going to send you on a mission. You can't bring any weapons. I'm not going to tell you where to go.
No.
I'm not going to tell you how to figure out the challenge. And, good luck. I was like, wait, what? What?
He literally goes, you can't bring any weapons. But then his follow-up to the no weapons is, but there's gonna be lots of danger. I'm sorry. Maybe let's reorganize that order a little, because that's not a great setup.
I think this sounds like a suicide mission.
This is not okay. And then he's like, it's all on your shoulders. You gotta save us and do all this stuff.
Oh.
I don't know anything. Bye! And you're like, okay. And then I wrote this. I go, if you fail, everyone's gonna die and it's gonna be your fault, Atreyu.
Oh my god, the pressure.
It's a lot of pressure for this little boy.
But he takes it.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'm just gonna go save this entire world. Bye.
Bye.
And really rides that horse, man. He's cooking.
He rides the horse, and before he ends up leaving, he gets the necklace, which is called the Orin.
Yes.
And the guy is like, yeah, it'll protect you. But then he doesn't explain, what that means or, how we do that. And then the necklace kind of does nothing.
But does it?
It does,
anything?
one thing kind of at the end, but,
It was like, wear this necklace, don't lose it, and it'll only be helpful for one thing at the end, which, by the way, was okay. It wasn't that exciting.
So, quick pause, because there are sequels to this movie, and unfortunately most of them are trash. I only know of 2 follow-ups. There's a second one, where they kind of, go back to Fantasia. It's, all different actors, whatever, not good. However, the third one, for whatever reason, we owned on VHS, and so I used to watch it a lot, and guess who is the main bad guy in that movie?
Ooh.
I'll give you a hint. You're not hardcore!
Jack Black?
Hardcore. Jack Black. He's the evil bully, and it's so amazing. It had to be one of, if not his very first movie role, because he's such a baby. But
wow.
The reason I bring this up is because in that movie, that third movie, they actually do finally use the stupid necklace thing way more, because it's you can make wishes out of it, and so that's a big plot point of the third movie, but it's not used at all in this one. So what are we doing? Couldn't I just wish the nothing to get out of my face? Jesus.
I think you could.
Yeah.
Kate, did you read this book?
No, I didn't.
Because there was a lot of turmoil from the author, who I think part of the reason there was NeverEnding Story 2 and 3 is so much of the movie leaves out stuff from the book, which always happens, right?
Right.
The author's name was Michael Ende.
Is it a German book? It's not a German book, right?
I think it is.
Oh,
yeah.
it is. Cool.
Yeah, but boy, oh boy, he hated this movie.
Well then.
Okay, so when we get into more of the tough side, where they go through, he's on the horse, and they're going through kind of, prettier landscape, and then we get to, the sad mud. What is it called? The sadness?
Swamps of Sadness.
The Swamps of Sadness.
And right before Swamps of Sadness, we get introduced to another character who is Gamork, or, I don't know. It's the scary wolf that everyone's afraid of, and it's basically the creature of darkness also began his quest, and then he's just trying to hunt down Atreyu, and you see point of view shots like Jaws, but it's on land and it's fast, and I hate it, and so I'm afraid.
Okay, so I was really scared as a kid.
Yep.
Equally scared as an adult.
It's scary.
I was oh,
he's just
scary.
Eyes and teeth. I hate it.
Yeah, but when we get to this horrific scene with the horse, I just felt that was so rushed. I didn't get to see the horse and Atreyu bond. I didn't get to see, his love for the horse, and we're just getting into the story, and now all of a sudden this, main character dies?
Yeah.
What?
You literally see one scene of him and Artex, chilling near, a little creek, and it's all beautiful flowers, and he's like, here, Artex, have some apple. Wow, I love you. You love me. We're friends. And you're cute. And then Swamp of Sadness,
Oh my god.
Yeah, it is fast, but I'm glad it was, because if it went on longer, I would have cried longer, and I don't like that, so...
And so basically, the horse got too sad, which is why it didn't move, and because it was sad, the swamp was we're gonna let you sink, because if you're not sad, you don't sink. Is that what was happening?
Yes. horse.
Okay, so to film that, to train a horse to be in muck like that and be able to be like let down is like impossible. I think they said it took like 7 weeks to train the horse because most horses would be like, I'm not doing this I'm out of here.
No, yeah.
But there was like an elevator that was dropping the horse, and so Noah Hathaway is the name of Atreyu, the actor. He got pulled down and went unconscious.
Swamp of murder! No!
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They like saved him before anything like happened, but like he really got like physically abused.
Where are the child labor laws? Oh my God.
So if you go on the internet, there's like all these conspiracies that like the horse actually died because I think they were like confusing his story, but the horse survived, Kate.
Oh my God, thank God. I'm like, I don't want to hear any of this.
But isn't that insane?
Whoa.
So the intensity.
Well, maybe that's why it was short too, because they were like, we don't want to deal with this stupid.
They were like, whoa, we can't kill the main character.
Kid almost died 8 times. We just gotta get past it and just move on and hate it.
But the screaming, like, it was like 0 to 100 for me. I was just not ready for the intensity, but it was sad. I mean, it's a really sad scene.
I thought it was sad, and I think the saddest part is because they film it, in my opinion, I think it's filmed this particular moment in a really good way, is he kind of is like walking with the horse, and he's like, come on, we gotta keep moving, and then the horse keeps like slowly moving, and then the camera is showing like the back of Atreyu's head, so you can't see the horse, and then he kind of like is walking, and he like, gets like jerked to stop, and he does like a slow turnaround, and then it pans to the horse who is like being pulled but like not moving, and that's when you're like, oh, he's sad. He is a sad horse. We're screwed. And then it was really sad. I just thought it was so sad.
It was so sad.
He's like, you have to try. You have to care for me. And like, oh.
You have to move or you'll die. And
so
then like,
sad.
which by the way, if I was on this big quest and like in the first 5 minutes my horse dies, I'm done.
Yeah,
everyone's dead.
Just lay down and die, because ain't no way coming back from losing a pet like that. Hell no.
Everyone's dead, but somehow he gets to Shell Mountain.
He gets to Shell Mountain, and he's looking for someone named Morla, who is known as the Ancient One, and this character was the worst.
And Kate, you know my love of turtles.
I know. He's not a cool turtle.
In COVID times, the sneezing.
Yeah, it's just
because
too
the
much.
turtle, the ancient giant turtle, was allergic to Atreyu and kept sneezing, and then he kept flying like it was a Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, yeah, what?
And he
Crazy.
basically doesn't help at all. He is like super annoying and vague, and Atreyu's like, I need information. And he's like, I have that. And he's like, tell me. And then he's like, nah. And then Atreyu's like, what? And then it's a stupid argument just to lead up to this guy then being like, just kidding, I don't know. And he's like, what? Waste of time. And then he's like, but you go to this place, and like, they might know. And I'm like, what the are we doing? Our horse died for no reason, okay? Well, I'm annoyed.
Well, and he adds the piece of, well, you can ask the 7 oracles, but...
Southern Oracle.
Or Southern? Oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't know any names. But it's 10,000 miles away.
Yeah.
And so he's literally covered in snot. His horse just died. And he's thinking, well, how am I going to do that? And so that's when basically you see him just like slowly kind of giving up, which is not a good place to give up in the swamps of sadness.
No way. That little elevator is going to take you down. The director is going to be like, F this kid. I don't care. Let's kill him. Save a paycheck.
Kate, what happens? Who comes to save the day?
Never-ending Falcor swings right in, saves the day, avoids the wolf. Oh, yeah. Saves the day, because that wolf was about to bite him, and then
that wolf was gonna eat him. Yeah, and then he basically like takes a nap while he heals all his trauma.
Yeah.
And Falcor's like, don't worry about it. We did about like 9,999 miles. So like, wake up. And he's like, what? Who are you?
Yeah.
Very cool though, the design of Falcor, like up close and personal, all the little details.
Oh yeah, he's got like pink scales, but he also has like fur, and you're like, oh no, I don't know. He's got like dog ears, and then it's like kind of weird when he gets his ears scratched, but that's fine because we like the other stuff about him, and he's nice.
Well,
so, woo.
And it's like this giant puppet, so you're like, okay, you did the best you could in 1984. Like, he was still like a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it could be done better now, but the concept of him being this luck dragon.
Right.
And I thought they had a cute message where he's like, as long as you don't give up, I'll always be here to give you luck. And I'm like, oh, how cute!
I literally wrote, Falcor should go write some fortune cookies because he's spewing them out right now. There's literally a part where Atreyu is like, how'd all this happen? And Falcor goes, with love. I was like, okay, is this just like, that's the answer for everything, is it? We're just gonna, all right, fine, I buy it. It's fine.
I mean, do you know how many people should just be honest about it? You just got lucky, kid.
It's just luck. It's great. So, from here, we then meet some new characters, because this is a lot of new, take a sip every time there's a new character if you want to have a good time watching the movie. Okay, we meet two new friends. They are two tiny friends. These are basically tiny grandparents who are kind of weird.
Who aren't having the best relationship.
Yeah, I think they should look into divorce. I don't know what that looks like in Fantasia, but maybe Falcor, with all his luck, can kind of help figure that out, because I don't know what's going on. But the wife is basically like, I need to heal this boy, and then
she's like a healer.
The guy is like, I'm a scientist, and I do science, and you're like, okay, this is a weird thing, but fine, it's all fine. And then the scientist guy's like, I know everything about this place you're going to, and he's like, oh my god, tell me. And then he's like, let's just go look instead. And you're like, what? Okay, that's not, again, like, this is like the Empress being like, I know all the info, but like, go through your journey. So, good luck. Okay.
He keeps calling his, let's say, wife, wench.
He does.
And I was like, this dude's so annoying. So I was kind of happy when he was like, let's go in this giant bucket and get away from each other, because you two are so annoying, bickering.
Yep.
And you quickly see a quote-unquote brave soldier, which, why couldn't he be hired to do this instead of this little boy? And he has to go through this gate, which is the southern gate.
Well, these are the sphinxes, because this is what's confusing. So the southern oracle, it's like the last thing that he gets to. There's like two different like things he has to go through, and then he gets there. So the first thing is these two sphinxes who have boobs. By the way,
oh my god, the author was so mad about it. He wrote all these things like so unnecessary, so voluptuous, and to be honest, like, they had huge boobs.
Yeah, there was a lot happening there, and there were nipples. I'm like, oh no. So, yep. But the way to get through this gate is you have to basically, like, believe in yourself.
Believe in your abilities.
Or
like, don't doubt yourself.
Like, know your worth. Right. So, that's how you get through. And if you don't do that, you are going to explode. Not from the nipples, from the eyeballs.
That'd be like the Austin Powers version of it.
That definitely would be.
But it's kind of this, like, weird message, because it's like, okay, you're not worthy because you don't have self-confidence, so we're gonna kill you? I mean, I just thought it was a little extreme.
Yeah, we don't handle that the same way in schools, because I think every child would be dead, so...
But he was pretty brave, because the scientist was like, I got a book, you're gonna go look at it, let me tell you all the things I know, and he was like, I'm just gonna go up and see. And he was like, wait,
I'm out of here. See you, sucker. And the guy's like, wait, I'll tell you about the other thing. And Atreyu's like, anyway, bye. I don't care.
Oh my God.
Let's figure it out. You're annoying. And somehow he makes it through, but he does kind of have a close call. He kind of starts to have a little self-doubt when he's up in there.
I mean, if I saw, like, a dead soldier on the ground, I'd be like, and I'm a little, like, child, I'd be like, and, then we cut to the kid in real life, and he's like, rah! Which, oh god, who would love to go up to that attic and see some kid screaming at the top of his lungs? Run!
Okay, let's take a pause, because there were other scenes up until this point where it would cut back to the kid, and, like, he would be really extra, just like that.
God.
So when he gets to the Shell Mountain, and the guy sticks his head out, and you're like, oh, it's a giant turtle. It cuts to Bastian, and it's like a slow zoom in his face as he's like, and then they, like, Atreyu and the turtle, like, hear him in the story, and then Bastian's like, that's impossible! And then everyone's like, anyway, moving on. That was weird. But in my head, I was like, okay, I can understand you're reading a book, something emotional happens, you cry. I get that. I can understand you, like, feeling energetic and, like, rooting for a character. I have never, and I've read some about books. I have never, while reading a book, took a 2 to 5 second pause and screamed bloody murder. Because that was a little too much for me.
Kate, you just had to read The NeverEnding Story.
Makes you scream in the attic, little boys, oh yeah.
But that's what I mean by, like, both of their acting was so, like, abrupt for me. And I was just, like, not ready for a random scream or a random traumatic scene. I was like, warm me up. I am not ready for this.
Another scene that honestly felt a little bit like a Bob scene, just real quick before we move on, is when Atreyu, before Artex gets murdered in the Swamp of Sadness, and they're just chilling next to that little magical creek, and it's great, and there's flowers, and life is good. Atreyu is like, oh, all right, I get it, you're hungry, let's eat. And then he goes, that's a good idea, and it cuts to Bastian, who is by himself in a dusty attic, and Bastian goes, this is exactly how he says it.
Oh my God, yes.
No, it's a great idea! And then he takes one bite of a sandwich, and then he very seriously, again, he's by himself in a dusty attic, listeners, he goes, no, I can't eat all of it now. Gotta save some. And you're like, what? Are you talking? You have dinner later. We're probably late for it right now. Sir, what are you talking about?
That was so weird.
Yep, sure was. So
he makes it. He makes it through the gates.
He makes it through the gate, but this
the booby gates.
The booby gates makes it past the nipples. Thank God, it's always up in the air if you're gonna do it. But this is another point where he kind of gets through here, and then now the next like task or challenge or whatever you want to call it, the next thing is this magic mirror.
Yes.
And in the mirror, people will see their true selves. And this part lost me a little bit because the scientist guy was explaining to Falcor, and he's like, nice people walk up to it and then they're really mean. And I was like, but what if they are nice? I'm confused. Like, if it's their true self, isn't that like... I don't know. I had questions.
Well, so he looks at the mirror, and then you see the human, Bastian.
Does.
And so I'm like, okay, cool, I'm vibing. But nothing that the scientist told us about happened. There wasn't like a mean, there wasn't like a Gollum type, right, internal struggle. Like, it was just like, well... Look at that, a human boy. Moving on. No one reacted. And we just moved on.
Bastian did react, because Bastian, like, he's reading the book, and he reads that part, and then Bastian literally takes his book and he throws it at the wall, and he's like, this is going too far! I'm 11, and I don't have parents anymore, and what's happening? And I was like, you're telling me, kid, what's happening? But he picks it up again, and I think by picking up the book and reading it again is why then Atreyu was able to, like, go through it, because it meant, like, okay, we're kind of the same, because Bastian is kind of, like, going through the story, and I'm, like, he's going through my story, and so when he picks it back up, then that allows me to then kind of go through. We got past that. Whatever. But don't worry, listeners, because we got more boobs. It's fine.
We got blue boobs!
These are blue. This is the same sphinxes we literally just went through, but now they're blue, and the first thing they say is, don't worry, we're not gonna hurt you. I was like, well, you should go maybe tell some of your friends to think about doing that, because, like, there's a lot of dead people over there.
Oh my God. And they were like, hey, so we have the answer, and you're like, and then they're literally just, like, crumbling.
Yeah.
Like, their forehead falls off, and they're like, the answer is... And you're like, go faster! And he's like, what? Tell me! And then I think he reacted appropriately. They're like, she needs a new name. And he's like, that's it? Like,
yeah.
What?
He goes, that's easy! And then they were like, not
like,
from
no.
you. You're like, no.
And then Bastian's like, oh. And then what made me laugh is he's like, I got a great name. And you're like, do you?
Is it Bastian? Maybe think about that a little bit more before you share that with anyone. Okay.
Do you? But we're really intertwining, which I think is a really cool storyline of the real human kid with the fantasy world and the book. There's a story within a story. Always gotta love that. And somehow Falcor comes back, right? And he's like, we gotta go to the end. And this was the music throughout the whole movie sometimes didn't land, but I loved this part.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and they were like, and they like did a really fast one because he's like, we gotta get there fast, and Falcor's like, hold on.
Oh yeah, Falcor is so cool. I love him.
And then they just like flew super duper duper fast.
Yep.
And we never really found the end of Fantasia, did we?
Well,
it didn't really exist.
They're technically, there like is no end, which I guess makes sense because, again, this is the philosophical existentialism starting to seep through to all the little children who don't understand. Is because this is a made-up place by the imagination of children, it is never-ending. There can be no end because it's kind of like, can be infinitesimal, blah, blah, blah. But that's fine because as we're flying, the nothing, appears, and then it's like, it reminded me of the Wizard of Oz, like the way they filmed it, where it was like, and Falcor's just like spinning around, and then Atreyu falls off, but he somehow doesn't die. Riddle me that. I don't know.
Flies from the sky and just lands softly on the beach.
So, cool. Falcor, I don't know where Falcor went, and then he lost the necklace too, but you're like, who cares? Because like, it's fine. You can get another one at like Spencer's, like whatever,
I actually really like this next scene where it's some sort of like crumbling building.
Oh yeah.
And there's like hieroglyphic style scenes from the movie where he's like, whoa, that's my horse in the swamps of sadness.
Who the painted that, you sickos? You're all sickos. Get that out of here.
There's Shell Mountain, the turtle, and you could tell that he's like, wait, I'm finally getting guidance. Like, finally, is someone gonna tell me where to go? I'm a little boy. And then we see the wolf, and this I thought was a really good scene because I was pretty afraid of this wolf.
He's scary,
and he gave him really good dialogue, quick action scene. I wish they talked more.
Honestly, he should have gone to this wolf first and been like, the Empress, because she's not giving me anything. Because this wolf told him the real talk. He's like, here's what's going on. We're all made up. We're all made up fantasy in little human children's brains, but little human children aren't reading no more. Okay, so we're all disappearing. I'm here to up. I'm supposed to up this little kid. Little kid's gone, so like, whatever. Now we're just chilling, and like, that's it. And then Atreyu was like, oh, wow, information. I don't even know what to do anymore with that.
Well, I loved it because he's like, I was here to kill Atreyu.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, if some wolf is like, I'm here to kill Bridget, okay, I'd be like, oh, I'm Rebecca.
I've never seen her before.
Never heard of that. And Atreyu's like, I'm Atreyu. I was like, wow, that's pretty heroic.
Yeah, it's very heroic. And then you're like, oh, we got all this build up. This is so intense. Atreyu's like, bring it on, sucker. We're all about to die, and I'm ready. And the fight scene lasts for 0.5 seconds.
2 seconds.
That wolf went out real fast.
Not a big bad wolf.
No, he was all talk, no action.
He got stabbed pretty quickly, and he was also like 4 times the size of Atreyu. So, but Atreyu, like a boss, just gets up and is like, "Well, let's keep going," and is hanging onto a tree as the world is crumbling around him, and somehow Falcor gets him again, right?
Yes. So Falcor, before he gets Atreyu, is like, I guess I'll get that necklace. I don't know. Sure, whatever. So he goes in the ocean and he gets it.
Do you know how cool the Aqua version of Falcor would be? Like,
Dude,
I want that movie.
I would love that.
I
would ride Falcor in the water. I would ride him in the air. I would ride through a volcano with him. I would go to space. I would attack Jeff Bezos' stupid spaceship via Falcor, and then I would go just like Bastian at the end. Yeah! As it fell to earth in flames.
Well, and you actually end up in space because Fantasia has basically ripped apart from the planet that it is, and this is the only time we use the necklace, Kate. Why do we use the necklace?
Because
to find the ivory
tower. Yeah, he's like, oh man, I wish we could find that place, and the necklace is like, oh, I just woke up. Sorry, I've been sleeping for a while. Sure, I guess I'll help. I don't know. But there is a part in here that I actually really liked, and this is why I think Falcor's the coolest. Because not only can he fly, but he says nice things. And Atreyu's all like, sad and butthurt because he's like, I failed and I ruined everything because I'm 11 and everybody told me only I could do it and not like any adults. And the 80s are hard. And Falcor goes, you tried. And I was like, Falcor, you should adopt Bastian because his dad would have been like, yeah, you're a little you failed. My God. But they do find the ivory tower, and it's just like floating on a rock or something.
And we meet the princess. We finally meet the princess.
We finally meet the Empress, and she is
the Empress.
She's also 10, because, the
We're
children.
in a child world.
Where's the little children land? She's 10, and he comes in, and he's, like, making a weird face at her, and then she goes, "Why are you so sad?" I'm sorry. Hello? Were you napping for 10 years? Because I'm confused. Why you're confused? Why we're sad? What are we doing?
I don't know, but we all know what needs to happen. She needs a new name. Yes. And he's like, I don't understand. There is no end to this. How do I get to this kid? This, like, made me laugh a little bit because she kept getting, like, closer and closer to the camera.
Oh my God,
like,
yeah.
Bastian, tell me my new name. And then the human kid is like, wait, what? And I'm like, come on, you've gotten past this. We've been in the attic for like 17 days at this point.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
Just name her. And the storm is big. The attic's getting scarier. I'm pretty sure like all the police are out to find Bastian.
He hasn't eaten a meal in a long time. He's like probably dying of
rationing
starvation.
His peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
He's only had one bite of a sandwich all day. He's thrown in a dumpster before. He's probably has tetanus. Everything's wrong. And then he finally goes, "All right, I will do what I dream." And you're like, what? Like, that's a weird thing to say, but whatever. And then that's when he runs to the window. Why did we run to the window? I would have just kind of hung out there. I don't know why we had to do calisthenics in between. Runs to the window, opens it very dramatically, and what does he scream, Bridge?
Moonchild!
And this is what it sounded like.
The internet is like, what was the name? What was the name? What was the name? He yelled, what was it? And honestly, the fact that 20 minutes earlier, he's like, I got a great name. I'm like, Moonchild?
No.
But a part of me thinks it's tied back to his mom.
That's
because
his
he
mom's
was like,
name.
So his mom's name is Moonchild?
So I think his mom may have been a little hippy-dippy, and that's why he loves unicorns and all that stuff. Oh my
God.
I don't know.
But it gets so dark, and then, like, because the storm in real life or fantasy, we don't even know what's real, what's not at this point. And the princess pops up into the real world, and she's in the flesh, and she's just holding Fantasia in her little hand, like it's, the galaxy is on Orion's belt, Men in Black style.
Men in Black, yes.
And you're just like, wowie. We didn't lose Fantasia, but Fantasia's made up in his head, so couldn't we always rebuild it? Anyways, that's semantics.
Anyway, we don't care, because whatever. And then she goes, Bastian, now you get to make a wish. And he was like, a wish? And then she goes, you can make as many wishes as you want. Why? What did he do? Why does he, because he skipped school? And he read a book in an attic? And he's an Amber Alert? He gets to get wishes? Okay.
How many 1984-year-old little 11-year-old boys are trying to find school attics to do this? How many nerds are like, this is my moment?
Yeah, right. Like, I like unicorns too. But don't worry, listeners, because as cheesy as it all is, I'm sorry. The ending is so ridiculous, and I laugh, but I also cheer.
Stupid.
I have a strange mixture of emotions of support and making fun of and heckling. I cannot, but this is where Bastian is riding on Falcor, which probably would have been my wish too, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, we all want that.
And he goes, yeah!
Katie has taken her fist and she has raised it in the air.
That's me. I'm gonna Photoshop Falcor in the background of my Zoom and just
every kid that is around our age knows exactly what that looks like.
It's so awesome.
And then they go after the bullies, and then Falcor literally goes.
Well, because it's like, you see him on Falcor, and he's in Fantasia, and then you're flying, and you see all the characters, and you're like, wow, everyone's alive again, life is great, Artex is back, thank God, you're okay, love you. And then we go to the real world, and I guess Bastian, one of his wishes was to traumatize other children in a revenge fantasy of attacking 10-year-olds with a dragon in public.
And they end up in the garbage.
The funniest part of the scene is it's like a public street, and there are adult humans, and you hear in the background people being like, ah! You literally hear bloody murder screams of terror because what are we doing? And
my God.
It's so funny because the music is
so funny.
Life is really great. Everyone's like,
I gotta tell you, I think the music did not align up with a lot of the scenes. Oh my god. But we did it, Kate. We did it. And he saved the day, and children don't ever stop believing. Tinkerbell taught you that. Let's go.
Don't stop believing in Falcor. Yeah. Hold on to your luck, dragons. All right. I gotta stop, because that's just gonna keep going. That's just never gonna stop. Well, Bridge, what do you think? Would you watch it or don't watch it?
So, if you watch it, have low expectations. I think it's better remembered as a kid.
What about someone who's never seen it?
Someone who's never seen it, watch it.
Okay.
But it's way better in my head, all of what I remembered, than, like, watching it again. Because I got to, like, selectively remember certain things and not others.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I think if you've never seen it, you should watch it. I think if you have seen it, it's fun to revisit. But I'll be honest, I'm actually really surprised that this movie has yet to be, like, remade or even rebooted.
I know!
Right?
It would be so good.
Yeah, I feel like it could be really good, because obviously they probably wouldn't do practical effects. I'm sure it would all be, like, computer generated and CGI and whatever, but I don't know.
Do you think, like, movie execs are like, kids don't know what books are these days, we can't make this movie? And it's like, oh, no.
But, like, that's why I feel like it could be applicable, because you could update it and be like, kids today don't read because they all go on that TikTok, and then y'all know they'd be TikTok Falcor flying through the streets attacking the children. That would that would be trending on Twitter real fast, I'll tell you that.
And I think updated Falcor's voice should be Snoop Dogg.
Yeah! Oh my god, wait, okay, I can just picture it now. This scene where Atreyu wakes up and he's trying to sneak away, and then it turns to Falcor. I just picture in Snoop Dogg's voice, him being like, greetings, Atreyu. Greetings, loved ones. Let's take a journey.
Man?
Oh, man. Oh my god, I love Snoop Dogg so much. Snoop Dogg needs to be in that, please.
I would love to know if they're doing a remake or why not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just leave the nipples out of the remake, alright?
Oh my god. That was, and honestly, the rest of it wasn't too scandalous, right?
No.
Like, it was just more like silly, stupid stuff.
Yeah. Well, and listeners, we forgot to mention this, but that's us. It's not you, it's us. This movie was a fan pick, and this was picked by our listener, Joe.
Joe! I mean, I hope we did it justice for you.
Joe, I hope you rode in on Falcor, and now you're going to ride off into space and attack Elon Musk, because he should also be attacked.
Joe, come to Munich with us, and we'll go to the museum together!
Oh, that'd be so fun. Oh my god,
We'll go to Germany.
Yeah.
We'll go to Germany. We'll have Das
Well,
Boot.
Bridge.
Ah, yes.
I do have our next movie.
Woo!
So,
I'm so excited.
So, this is gonna be a little different, but I'm gonna explain why.
Okay.
Listeners, this is our 63rd episode we're doing.
Woo!
Wow. That's really awesome. So we've been doing 63 episodes thus far, and obviously we are a nostalgic movie podcast, and I have my own specific definition of nostalgic. Some may have a different one, but I am actually going to make our next pick a movie that it's not super nostalgic, but it hasn't come out this year, and I'll tell you why. Because this movie was actually requested. This is another fan pick, and this was requested by one of our listeners that we actually shouted out. And the reason we shouted this listener out is because not only did this listener follow the directions and fill out the movie request form on our website, but this listener was so enthusiastic about what we do here that he even felt compelled to email us and tell us how much he appreciates us. And we've emailed back and forth a couple times. So this is a request by David. David is from Philly. David gave us a couple choices, and I'm going to pick a choice that he gave that is actually a superhero movie. This is a really good pick, and we probably would not have gotten to this movie otherwise. It would have taken us a long time, but, you know, sometimes you just say, F it, and you do what you want.
Yeah!
So this is defined. Obviously, it's an action movie. It is adventure. It is sci-fi, and it came out in 2018. But I'll be honest, it kind of feels like it came out way longer ago. go.
Wow. This is our nostalgic.
This is a nostalgic. Yo! That's great. Oh, that's a good marketing bridge. This is why I pay you the big bucks, I'll tell you. Oh, man. All right, so this movie, it's got a lot of amazing actors, and I really feel like this movie broke a lot of grounds in some respects, and I think you'll understand why when I tell you. I don't even want to tell you any of the actors, because you're going to know immediately what it is. It is about an heir to a hidden but advanced kingdom, and this person is going to step forward, lead his people into a new future, and he must confront a challenger from his country's past. This is the 2018 Marvel superhero movie, Black Panther.
Ooh!
Have you seen this movie? Have you ever seen this?
I have, and it's awesome.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
We saw the wardrobe in the museum.
Oh, yeah, I can, post pictures of that. That was so cool.
That was so cool.
That was so cool getting to see
Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, respect. So
oh my god.
Oh my
By
god.
the way, I'm gonna read too much about him.
So magical.
Ooh! David, thanks, David. I actually am really excited to watch this.
Woo! Get our suits on. Get ready to fight.
Wakanda forever!
Wakanda forever! Oh my god, it's so awesome. So awesome.
Well, Kate,
Bridge,
if you were asked to take a math test, and instead you went up to the school's attic and were reading a book, I'd make sure that we found you and told you you could read it in another room.
Thanks, Bridge.
You're welcome.
Thanks for not abandoning me in the scary storage attic with skeletons and wolf heads and spiders, I'm sure. So, wow. Well, and Bridge.
Yeah.
I just want to say, if Fantasia almost got destroyed, but then didn't, and then I got a wish. Or you, but I'm gonna say me.
You're so obsessed with these wishes.
I'm gonna say me in this case you'll see why. And I got a wish, and then she's like, JK, you have a billion wishes, do whatever that you want. I would wish for you and I to fly on Falcor. And then I would wish for the NeverEnding Story to sing in the background as we fly and scare children. Murder screams will be heard in the background of the scene because they're scared. Yep.
Bullies in the garbage can. Yeah, that's where they belong, and it's not Mighty Ducks. Say, oh man, Kate, wow. I want to Photoshop the two of us riding Falcor, but next to each other. Like it would be cute if we made a sisters Falcor. You could tell one's older, one's younger.
Could both of their faces be Val Kilmer? Because now I just want that to happen.
Yes.
I love that. Oh,
yes.
Boy. Well, and listeners, if you also love Falcor and revenge fantasies with little children and 80s synth ballads that are a little tone deaf, you should write us a review. We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts and some other podcasting apps. We also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. So this movie, NeverEnding Story, was a fan pick, and it was picked by Joe. Joe went on our website. He filled out the form. And our next movie, picked by David, he did the same thing. You can go on our website, scroll down on the main page. There's a form you can fill out to request a movie. All right, and we do have a list. So you get yourself on there, and we will get to it at some point.
We will. Right?
And Bridge, what else can they do on our website?
They can buy us coffee. So if you're able to eventually find the link that's scrolled down by the page to request a movie,
it's not that far. Okay.
You don't need to do that with this. Right up top is a link that says, you know what? I think these two ladies need some coffee. This is a lot. They talk a lot. They edit a lot.
It's never-ending editing. No, I'm kidding. There's an end to it.
Throw us a cup of Joe, and we'll just keep going. And we'll keep making up our own rules. You want Black Panther and it's not nostalgic? We don't care. We'll do it. We love you.
If anyone wants to do all the Thor movies, you'll be at the top of the list. I'll tell you that right now. So, just saying.
It's very specific, Kate.
Sorry. Not sorry. Okay. All right, listeners. Well, check all that out. And yeah, we hope to hear from you.
Listen, The story is as never-ending as your imagination. So just get there, get your luck dragon, and go have a good old time in the attic.
Have fun. Look for the skeletons.
Ooh, skip your math test.
Don't get stabbed by something. I don't know. Oh, my. All right, listeners. Well, we'll see y'all next week for Black Panther.
Wakanda forever.
There's a lot of like, all that good stuff. All right.
Can't wait.
I love you.
Bye-bye. I love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I love you.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswho'veseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.